Hello and welcome to the qualifying report for the Russian Grand Prix in the 2015 season. Kimi Raikkonen already winning the World Championship, which should make out for a fairly interesting qualifying session as his teammate Sebastian Vettel is going to want to end the season with a point to prove. But Will Stevens being the first of many to go out in the first part of qualifying manner, clearly not having the pace all season round, but it's not just been Will Stevens that's had issues. Jenson Button and Will Stevens both came together in this incident in qualifying, which made sure they were both out. But Kimi Raikkonen going out with a point to prove still in qualifying. Although he's won the World Championship, he's not going to take it easy at all. And coming through the final few corners now of the lap, and as we can see, Kimi Raikkonen on a primed set of tyres does a 1:38.8, which proved to be fast enough to get through. But there are the dropouts. It's Felipe Nasr, Jenson Button, Fernando Alonso, Roberto Merhi and Will Stevens in the manner. So Q2 got underway and Nico Rosberg had issues trying to set a lap in initially, as one of the dropouts, Sergio Perez, ended up holding him up, as did Sebastian Vettel have struggles as well. But Max Verstappen also getting involved with an incident with Lewis Hamilton, which didn't allow him to get through to Q3. But Kimi Raikkonen once again going out to set a point, and he comes around the final corner on option tyres and does a 1:37.7, once again just proving just how good he's been this season. And as you can see, there are the dropouts: Sergio Perez, Marcus Ericsson, Max Verstappen, Nico Hülkenberg and Daniel Kvyat in the Red Bull, not being able to match Daniel Ricciardo. So Q3 got underway, and as we can see, Kimi Raikkonen pushing to the absolute limits on the circuit. But one of the more impressive shows was Carlos Sainz in the Toro Rosso getting P9, which was a great result for the Spaniard, possibly proving his worth in that team. But also a surprise result were both Lotuses in P7 and P8, considering the struggles they've had. Felipe Massa only managed in P5 in that session, so once again possibly being out-qualified by Valtteri Bottas. Sebastian Vettel disappointed with 4th place in the end, really thought he had a good opportunity to get on the front row this weekend. But as we can see, Kimi Raikkonen only has time for one qualifying lap with these tyres, so he's left it right to the end of the session where the track theoretically should be at its best. So he's coming down into turn 1, and unfortunately this mistake of getting on the power too early saw him down in P10 and out of contention for pole position. That left Valtteri Bottas to pick up the pieces to get a brilliant 3rd place in the Williams, so once again proving his worth against Felipe Massa. Nico Rosberg managing to get 2nd place in the Mercedes, not being able to capitalise on the mistake of Kimi Raikkonen, but still a front row position. That left one man, Lewis Hamilton, to get pole position for the Russian Grand Prix. He's going to try and capitalise on that for his win in Russia. So here's how the top 10 lines up. Lewis Hamilton in 1st place, Nico Rosberg 2nd, Valtteri Bottas 3rd, Sebastian Vettel 4th, Felipe Massa 5th, Daniel Ricciardo 6th, Pastor Maldonado, Romain Grosjean 7th and 8th, then Carlos Sainz in 9th and Kimi Raikkonen in 10th. So here we are, the Russian Grand Prix. It's going to be a difficult race for us to win this one. Down in 10th position, Lewis Hamilton looking fairly strong in qualifying compared to the rest of the field. And Valtteri Bottas up there in 3rd, he could be a potential threat with the straight line speed of that Williams. But we're going to have to work really hard for this one in 10th place. We have, obviously, there's the back end of the field from Kvyat to Stevens from 11th to 20th. There's ourselves, Kimi Raikkonen in 10th place, disappointing qualifying. Grosjean and Maldonado having a good result for Lotus, but yeah, Hamilton 3/10 ahead of Rosberg in that qualifying session, so we're going to have to work hard. Hamilton's going to be quick this race, but we'll have to wait and see how things go. Russia tends to be quite kind on its tyres, so there's not really a lot we can do in terms of strategy. As you can see, it's a one-stop race and we're stopping on lap 12 and 13. So it gives us plenty of time to use up our softer tyres, so I guess that's one plus side. But of course, being in the top 10, we couldn't even choose to go on prime tyres, so it's kind of limited us a little bit there. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get into the race. So here we are on the grid now. 4, now 5 red lights. And away we don't go. That's probably one of our worst starts we've had this season. Blimey, we're already down to 13th. I know it's normally difficult to get starts anyway on this game, but we're down into 14th position in the clutches of the Force Indias and the Toro Rosso there. So we're going to have to take things cautious into the first corner. There's been many accidents in the past. As we can see, actually losing the back end already there. So we're coming around the turn 3. Hopefully no one hits us up at the back. And just look at this incident at the back with the manner of Will Stevens. He tries to go for an overtake on his teammate Roberto Merri, and somehow manages to hit the back of him and just spin round and collect up Fernando Alonso. And look, here's it from his view. Look, he manages to hit both of them and spins round, just completely blocks Fernando, who's on the prime tyre. So he was looking to try and do a different strategy, but this has just thrown that completely out the window. But as we just go down the inside of Sainz and round the outside of Hulkenberg actually through turn 3, so that was a fairly nice move from ourselves there to get up to 9th position. So we've only gained 1 place after the start, so it's not been the greatest of starts for Raikkonen. I'm sure he'd have wanted to get past this slot a bit quicker than that, but as you can see, we've just got so much more pace than these midfield cars. We've got Grosjean holding us up so much. We're going to have to try something here and just power it round the outside through whatever number corner that is. I'm actually not too sure, but that was a beautiful move there. We're losing the back end slightly, so we're going to have to be cautious now. It doesn't seem like we've quite got the stability of this car through these corners, but as you can see, Ricciardo's just having a go at Maldonado there. So Pastor Maldonado's done a good job to get that Lotus up to 6th place. Of course, qualified 7th and 8th Lotus. Pretty good qualifying for them around Russia, but we get past both Ricciardo and Maldonado, which is crucial because they were probably the 2 of the slower cars. But that's us into P6, and Sebastian Vettel's even dropped a place to the Williams of Massa now. So Ferrari 5 and 6. I'm sure they had better hopes coming into Russia, with the very possible chance of Kimi Raikkonen wrapping up the Drivers' Championship here. So it's probably the best interest for Sebastian Vettel to get out of Kimi's way and allow him to go off to try and win this Drivers' Championship in this race. We lose the back end, and Seb is going to try and get up our inside once again. We take avoided action running off the track, but we try and let him through, but for some reason he just backs out of it. So we've just given up that time to those Williams, and it's taken us to lap 4 to get relatively close to those cars, and Sebastian Vettel doesn't seem to have our pace at the moment. So 2 Williams going wheel to wheel through turn 1, and oh no, Kimi, what are you doing? He's lost the back end once again through turn 1, and we're going to have a look at a replay here. So you can see the 2 Williams boys going quite slowly, but we try and get the power on, and this time we've got a Williams to hit us, or we've hit a Williams this time spinning. So thankfully no one else collected us. It's not the end of our race, but that is us back down to P8 behind the Lotus of Pastor Maldonado, who's finally been overtaken by Daniel Ricciardo now. And we're just going to have a look at what Sebastian Vettel's been getting up to. He's managed to catch up to the back of the Williams, so showing that Ferrari does have pace. It's just he can't particularly overtake those cars, but showing that we have pace. We've caught up to Daniel Ricciardo already starting lap 6, and we set the fastest lap of a 1:40.4, and we're going to try and go round the outside of Ricciardo, and oh my god, we're almost hitting that wall there, so close. But we're going to cut to a TV camera, and we're going round the outside, and really Codemasters, for God's sake, we had side-by-side, wheel-to-wheel contact, and it just spins us round like that. So annoying. So we're back down to P7. Thank God this is a low tyre wear track, otherwise our tyres would be completely buggered and we'd have no chance. But we're already onto the back of Ricciardo once again through that turn 1 sequence, and we're going to try round the outside here, showing that even though Red Bull tend to make good chassis and have good aero, the Ferrari's shown it's pretty strong as well, being able to go round the outside of Ricciardo through turn 3, and he runs wide actually through turn 4, so that's given us the position. And now we've got to catch Felipe Massa, who's 5.3 seconds ahead of us on lap 7. So it should take us a few laps to catch up to the back of Massa. But saying that, starting lap 8, we're 2 seconds behind him. So the battling he's having with Bottas is certainly not helping the Williams team. It is slowing them down so much. It is an absolute joke. I expect it to be a good few laps. They're still going wheel to wheel through turn 1. As you can see, they're going to go wheel to wheel through turn 3 as well. So really slowed each other down. We set the fastest lap 1:39.3. So we're showing some proper good pace around this Russian Grand Prix. But sadly, we're still down in 6th place because of all the incidents we've been having. But these guys, really, I'm sure Williams they've probably spoken to both drivers in terms of team orders, because it's just slowing them down so much. And we actually just, out of nowhere, go up the inside of Felipe Massa there. So that's us into P5. We're right onto the back of Bottas. Clearly, Williams not having the downforce around this middle and last sector, not having the mechanical grip in the last sector either. So they have decent straight line speed. And as you can see here, with DRS, slipstream, and I'm sure in rich fuel mix, we're not really making too many gains on the Williams. We make it right at the end of the straight and we dart it up the inside of Valtteri Bottas. And we actually give him a little squeeze there because we're starting to get frustrated that we have all this pace in our car and in our tyres and we're still down in 4th place. Sebastian Vettel recovering well to get 3rd place as we're drifting on lap 9. So the rear tyres slightly going off, probably because of a result of our spins and incidents, but we're closing into the back of Sebastian Vettel through the last corner and a 1:40.5. So it's just showing our tyre wear is starting to go off now. We're pitting in the next couple of laps anyway, so it's not going to make too much of a difference. And we go wheel to wheel with Sebastian Vettel down that straight. AI barely leave enough room, and we're going wheel to wheel. We're conscious of that side pod glitch, so we just give him enough space and we just about hold on to P3, but we actually run wide here for some reason. Like, I just didn't have the initial turn-in through that corner, which has allowed Vettel to try and go around the outside, but what are we doing there? We just drove off the track. I don't understand what's going on there. Maybe something's been going on. Maybe Vettel's been saying a few things about Kimi. I don't understand. We've just been driving very poorly. But coming on to lap 12 now, we've even caught up to Rosberg. So Vettel's already made his pit stop this lap. As you can see, he's just going through turn 3. Look how close to the back of Nico Rosberg we are right now. So we have tremendous pace in this Ferrari. Hamilton's only a few seconds up the road from Rosberg, so he's not running away with it just yet. It's not quite in Hamilton's arms yet, the race win, and we're going to go around down the inside, which then turns to the outside of this corner. So we're going to have to try something here. We just about have the grip to hold it down the inside, but we lose the back end off the track, and we're going to have to let Rosberg have the position back, because if we'd have come back on, we most likely would have been involved with an incident, because the AI likes to stay on the racing line even though you need to come back on. But Rosberg's going into the pit, so we decide to come in now, but we actually go wide and miss the white lines, but that doesn't matter according to Codemasters. We won't get a penalty for that, but Hamilton's in as well. So Rosberg's going to be double stacking with Hamilton, so that's basically a net position gained already. Even though we was ahead of him in the pit lane, we're going to have a gap on Rosberg now. So this could potentially see us into P2, coming out of the pits with the only man stopping us from winning is that man in front of us, Lewis Hamilton. So as we're coming out the pits on prime tyres on lap 13, tyre wear should be good now. We've got 14 laps, basically halfway with both tyres. But as you can see here, this is Valtteri Bottas having a look at Rosberg. So after going onto those prime tyres, Rosberg hasn't quite been able to switch the tyres on, and Bottas, who didn't actually make a stop because he was still on option tyres, is trying to make the most of him, but we make him too late of a movement to try and get past Hamilton, so we just hit the back of his car. Possibly, if there was a realistic damage on this game, then we possibly could have lost most of our front wing there, but thank God that isn't the case. And we're just getting so impatient because we've had so many incidents already in this race. We just want to see ourselves in the lead and putting away with this one. So we are driving so aggressively now, and as you can see, we get locked onto the back of Hamilton, and we've spun him. We've spun Lewis Hamilton. He backs up into us, and that's Rosberg now into the lead. honestly don't know what was going on there. Hamilton went a bit slow into the final corner, and the front of our car just locked onto the back of his, and we couldn't do anything about that, and the game didn't even give us a penalty for that. So maybe they deemed, and what the hell are we doing here? Oh dear. Oh dear, we're trying to defend too aggressively from Sebastian Vettel, trying to prove why we're the world champion, and that's resulted in us losing our front wing, or part of our front wing, and now we're going to have to come into the pits for another set of tyres, and I think we're going to put on the option tyres here and just push as hard as we can to the end of the race. And this is the worst I've driven, clearly, so far, because the other races we've been winning like 4 on the bounce, 3 on the bounce, you know, we've been getting podiums and whatnot, and this race, wow, look at us, we're going to be outside the points when all these cars go past us. So we're just about in P10 at the minute. There we are, P11. Sergio Perez has overtaken us for the final point, and that's going to be the race win out of it entirely. Now we're stuck behind the Sauber of Ericsson. We just about squeezed past him there, and we found ourselves too often being near these Saubers in the past couple of races. I think actually we were lapping them last time out in Singapore and Japan. But Sauber having a decent race here, clearly fighting for points, and I think we're just going to nip it up the inside of NASA there, and we have a cheeky corner cut which allows us to get side by side with Sergio Perez and more contact with the rest of the field. So we've really not been driving too well. I can't remember whether I took a break from this game or something, but we really haven't been driving well at all this race, and we're just about put it up the inside of Pastor Maldonado there, and we're right onto the back of Carlos Sainz, remember, with his impressive qualifying in P9, but clearly that was down just to the chassis and aero in that car, because that Renault engine is really not performing down that straight. And now we've only got Nico Hülkenberg. The gears start to get a bit harder now to overtake these cars, because Hülkenberg with the Mercedes engine, of course, in the back of that Force India. So we're going to have to possibly look for a chance to overtake through some of the corners here. Oh, never mind, he's gone into the pits. So that's one free position, and actually there's a few cars in the pits. So we've got Grosjean already in the pits and someone else as well, but we're right onto the back of Ricciardo on lap 4. So, lap 4 for position 4 on lap 18, and wow. That just shows how much pace we've got. We've made one extra stop, and we've been able to jump Ricciardo, and Stevens thankfully gets out of our way. The blue flags have been taught. All the drivers have gone to driving school. All the AI have gone to driving school, sorry, so they know what blue flags are now. But yeah, that just shows how much pace we've got in this race. We can make the extra stop, and we're still in 4th place. And that's Jenson Button going slow there, so he's been involved in an incident somewhere. But on lap 19... we're behind Felipe Massa, so the next lap, and we've caught up to Felipe Massa. And have a look on the minimap, Sebastian Vettel is crossing the line now, and we're not even at the second to last corner. So there's about 8 laps to go, 7-8 laps to go, and Sebastian Vettel is already halfway down this straight, so 10 seconds ahead of us on lap 20. So I think that's going to be pretty hard to get him, but believe it or not, somehow on lap 21, we're wheel to wheel with him. I honestly don't understand how we made 10 seconds in a lap or two. And again, we make contact with Sebastian Vettel, and now he's out of the race, or, you know, he's lost those positions. I don't understand why we've been driving so poorly this race in terms of overtakes, but that is us ahead of Sebastian Vettel. As we can see, Nico Rosberg is... wow, did you guys just hear that? 5 seconds a lap faster than Rosberg, apparently. And it's proven it, because on lap 25, we're right behind the race leader. What? I don't understand why we've got so much pace. 5 seconds a lap? What are the AI doing with those prime tyres? Are they just like driving like not like? I don't understand. But Rosberg, he's not going to make it easy for us, even though we've been catching him 5 seconds a lap. With that Mercedes engine and DRS, he overtakes us fairly convincingly on that straight. So looks like it's going to be a difficult one to stay ahead of Rosberg, because look at our tyres now. We've been pushing that hard. They're surely going to be hitting the cliff at some point, and we're trying to look for an inside move there through turn 3. We're hitting the back of him through turn 3, saying, come on Nico, hurry up. but this is going to be a titanic battle for the lead. Rosberg been leading since we made that mistake with Hamilton, and you know, he's been fairly dominant, but for some reason when we strapped on these option tyres, we've just been so much faster than the rest of the field. So it would be interesting to see if anyone else did a two-stop this race and see whether they gained any positions out of it. But we're just pushing the back of Rosberg every time now because we've got so much pace, but we know we've driven so poorly with some of our overtakes. We're going to take it a bit more cautiously now because, you know, we've already made a few errors and had to do another pit stop. So we're just going to go round the outside of Rosberg once again through this corner. We're being very cautious through here. And we make yet another mistake. We're going to try and get on the power a bit earlier, but as you can see, the AstroTurf really not helping at all. You know, the side part of the track, the green part, has slowed us down, and it's allowed Rosberg to get back ahead of us. So, oh no, we've been pushing so hard to get to the race lead, and with one lap to go, we're right behind Nico Rosberg, but we just don't want to balls anything up once again. We've already come into the pits once for an unnecessary front wing change. I really don't want that to happen on the last lap with Nico Rosberg. And we're coming down to the first corner. We're just about get into the race lead, but Rosberg's going to go round our outside on prime tyres. But look at this, wheel to wheel through turn 3. You know, I'm on worn set of option, he's on a worn set of prime. Neither of us are particularly on ideal sets of tyres, but we just about managed to get ahead of him there. And I think we're going to try and just hold on. As you can see, we're just getting the power on, and we've just got no rear grip whatsoever from the tyres. I mean, we've got no front grip really either, but it's particularly on power. As you can see there, we're just sliding all over the place, and we're low on fuel. So this is going to be a really tough race win for us today. And well, what a contrast to Japan, where we were 50 seconds ahead of the AI, and now we're struggling to keep the lead to Nico Rosberg with our rear tyre wear. And he's going to go to the... Oh, we're pushing him to the wall. So desperate when it comes to the last lap. He's just breezed past us with DRS. So it looks like he just about got enough of a gap. We're going to have to try something outstanding here. We go round the outside with our worn option tyres. Nico Rosberg clearly having nothing left in those prime tyres, and we've got nothing left in our options, so we're going to have to take it so gingerly. We're just sliding everywhere with these tyres, but finally we're at the second to last corner. We're sliding through that as well. Just take it easy, Tom. And we're coming across the line to win the Russian Grand Prix for Kimi Raikkonen, and that has secured us the World Drivers' Championship. Hang on a second. Hang on. Why are we P2 on the podium? We clearly won that race. What? What? How did Rosberg... We were...
It's not the winning that matters,
what?
But taking part. And that's certainly the case today for Kimi Raikkonen. He might not have won the race, but
I did win the race.
His way, and so he's claimed the ultimate prize. He is now the new Drivers' World Champion.
It's a wonderful achievement for the Finnish driver, a second title to add to his CV.
There'll be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you can join us at the next race to see just who will come out on top.
I came out on top. How did we lose that? What? 1.7 seconds beyond Rosberg. It shows we didn't get a penalty. What? For goodness sake. Well, at least we've won the World Drivers' Championship with Kimi Raikkonen now, so that's basically partially, that was our aim for this season, to get Kimi back on top and win a Drivers' Championship, and there's proof of it. 107 points ahead with just 100 points remaining in this championship. But yeah, okay. So we did win the race, but the game didn't think we did. So that's been it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Until next time, join us for the... Oh, what's next? The USA Grand Prix. Until next time, Take care.